Introduction to the 10 Lessons of Stoicism to Stay Calm. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by stress, anxiety, or the challenges of everyday life? Would you like to find a way to maintain calm and serenity, no matter what happens around you? If so, you're in the right place. Stoic philosophy, an ancient school of thought that has stood the test of time, offers practical and powerful tools to face life's challenges with a tranquil mind and a serene heart. In this series of 10 lessons, we will explore the fundamental principles of Stoicism and how they can help you live a more balanced and fulfilling life. From learning to control what you can and accepting what you cannot, to practicing virtue and finding serenity in adversity, each lesson will provide you with concrete strategies to apply in your daily life. Join me on this journey of discovery and learning as we delve into the wisdom of the ancient Stoics and find ways to apply it in our modern lives. These lessons will not only help you stay calm in times of crisis, but will also transform your perspective and way of living. Get ready to discover how Stoic philosophy can be an invaluable guide to facing life's challenges with resilience and serenity. Lesson 1. Control what you can, accept what you can't. Since I began studying Stoicism, one of the most powerful lessons I've learned is the dichotomy of control. This principle, taught by Epictetus, encourages us to distinguish between what is within our control and what is not. By focusing on what we can control and accepting what we cannot, we find a source of peace and serenity amidst the chaos of life. Epictetus reminds us that there are things completely within our control: our opinions, desires, aversions, and ultimately, our actions. On the other hand, there are many things we cannot control: the behavior of others, external events, and life circumstances. By accepting this reality, we release a tremendous amount of mental and emotional energy that would otherwise be wasted on unnecessary worries. A practical example of this principle in my daily life is how I handle traffic. I used to get very frustrated when I was stuck in a traffic jam. I'd worry about being late and get irritated with other drivers. However, by applying the dichotomy of control, I realized I can't control the traffic, but I can control my reaction to it. Now, when I find myself in a similar situation, I take a deep breath and accept that traffic is beyond my control. Instead of stressing, I use the time to listen to an audiobook or reflect on my day. Another important aspect of this lesson is learning to accept things as they are. This doesn't mean passively resigning ourselves to circumstances, but rather recognizing the reality and working within its limits. For example, if I face a problem at work, instead of complaining or feeling overwhelmed, I try to identify which aspects of the problem I can control and which I cannot. Then, I focus my efforts on the areas where I can make a difference, accepting the parts that are out of my control. Epictetus also teaches us that our happiness and tranquility depend on our ability to accept the inevitable. In his work, The Enchiridion, he says, "Do not seek that events should happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and your life will go well." This attitude of acceptance allows us to face challenges with a serene mind and a peaceful heart. The dichotomy of control not only helps us manage stress and anxiety, but also allows us to live more fully and meaningfully. By focusing on what we can control, we become more proactive and responsible in our lives. By accepting what we cannot control, we free our minds from unnecessary worries and find greater inner peace. This lesson in Stoicism has been transformative for me. It has taught me to live with more serenity and face challenges with an attitude of acceptance and proactivity. By applying the dichotomy of control in my daily life, I have found a constant source of calm and resilience. In the next lesson, we will explore how to practice virtue, another fundamental pillar of Stoicism, and how this practice can help us live a more fulfilling and balanced life. Lesson 2. Practice virtue. One of the most fundamental teachings of Stoicism is the importance of practicing virtue. For Stoics, virtue is the highest good and the key to a full and balanced life. The four cardinal virtues of Stoicism are wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. By cultivating these virtues, we can face life's challenges with integrity and serenity. Wisdom, according to the Stoics, is the ability to discern what is truly valuable in life. It's not just about accumulating knowledge, but applying that knowledge practically and ethically. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, reminds us that wisdom enables us to make correct decisions and live in harmony with nature. In my life, I try to practice wisdom by reflecting on my actions and their consequences, always striving for the greater good. Justice is another essential virtue in Stoicism. It involves treating others with fairness and respect, recognizing their dignity and rights. Stoics believe that we are all part of a global community, and our actions should contribute to the common good. In my daily life, I strive to be just in my interactions, whether at work, with friends, or in the community. I try to listen to others, be empathetic, and act with integrity. Courage, according to the Stoics, is the ability to face fear and adversity with strength and determination. It's not the absence of fear, but the ability to act in spite of it. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, teaches us that courage is essential for living a virtuous life. Facing our fears and challenges with bravery allows us to grow and overcome obstacles. In my life, I try to practice courage by facing difficult situations with a positive and resilient attitude. Temperance is the virtue of moderation and self-control. It involves regulating our desires and emotions to maintain balance in our lives. Stoics believe that temperance helps us avoid excess and live a more balanced life. Seneca reminds us that temperance allows us to enjoy life's pleasures without being enslaved by them. In my life, I try to practice temperance by moderating my desires and maintaining a balance between work, rest, and leisure. Practicing these virtues isn't easy and requires constant effort. However, the benefits are immense. By living according to virtue, we find greater inner peace and greater satisfaction in our actions. Virtue guides our decisions and helps us face challenges with integrity and serenity. A practical way to cultivate these virtues is through daily reflection. At the end of each day, I take a few minutes to reflect on my actions and evaluate how I've practiced wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. This practice helps me become more aware of my behaviors and continuously improve. The practice of virtue is an ongoing journey. It's not about achieving perfection, but about constantly striving to live according to our highest values. By cultivating wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance, we can face life's challenges with calm and serenity. In the next lesson, we will explore how to live in accordance with nature, another fundamental principle of Stoicism, and how this practice can help us find greater harmony and inner peace. Lesson 3. Live according to nature. One of the deepest teachings of Stoicism is the importance of living in accordance with nature. This principle, which may seem abstract at first, is fundamental to finding harmony and inner peace. Stoics believe that by aligning ourselves with nature, both our own and that of the universe, we can live a fuller and more balanced life. Living in accordance with nature means, first and foremost, recognizing and accepting our own human nature. Stoics teach that we are rational and social beings, and that our happiness and well-being depend on living according to these characteristics. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, constantly reminds us that we must act in accordance with our rational nature, using reason to guide our decisions and actions. For me, this means taking the time to reflect on my actions and making sure they align with my values and principles. For example, in moments of conflict, I try to respond rationally and not let my emotions take control. This is not always easy, but by practicing reflection and self-awareness, I can continuously improve. In addition to our rational nature, Stoics also emphasize our social nature. We are part of a larger community, and our actions should contribute to the common good. This means treating others with respect and justice, and working for the benefit of society. In my life, I try to practice this by getting involved in community activities and helping others whenever I can. In doing so, not only do I contribute to the well-being of my community, but I also find a deeper sense of purpose and connection. Living in accordance with nature also means accepting the natural flow of life. Stoics teach us that the universe operates according to a rational order, and we must accept events as they are. This does not mean passively resigning ourselves, but recognizing that there are things beyond our control and we must work within the boundaries of reality. Marcus Aurelius tells us, accept whatever happens to you, even if it seems unpleasant, because it leads to the health of the universe and the prosperity and well-being of Zeus. In my life, I try to apply this principle by accepting circumstances as they are and working with them rather than against them. For example, if I face an unexpected challenge at work, instead of complaining or resisting, I try to see how I can adapt and find a solution. This attitude of acceptance helps me maintain calm and serenity, even in difficult situations. Another way I try to live according to nature is by spending time in nature itself. Stoics believe that nature is a source of wisdom and tranquility. Spending time outdoors, whether walking through the woods, meditating by a river, or simply observing the sky, helps me reconnect with the natural world and find greater inner peace. Living in accordance with nature is a principle that can transform our lives. By recognizing and accepting our rational and social nature, and aligning ourselves with the natural flow of the universe, we can find greater harmony and balance. This Stoic lesson has taught me to live more consciously and face challenges with an attitude of acceptance and serenity. In the next lesson, we will explore the concept of Memento Mori and how contemplating death can help us live a fuller and more meaningful life. Lesson 4. Memento Mori, remember death. One of the most profound teachings of Stoicism is the concept of Memento Mori, which means remember death. At first glance, it may seem like a somber idea, but in reality, it is a powerful tool for living a fuller and more meaningful life. Stoics teach us that by contemplating our mortality, we can more deeply appreciate life and focus on what truly matters. The principle of Memento Mori invites us to reflect on the inevitability of death and use this reflection as a guide for our actions and decisions. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminds us that death is a natural part of life and that we must accept it with serenity. He writes, "Do not act as if you are going to live for 10,000 years. Death is at your side. While you live, while it is possible, be good." For me, practicing Memento Mori has been a way to maintain perspective and gratitude in my daily life. By remembering that my time is limited, I make an effort not to waste it on trivial concerns or unnecessary conflicts. Instead, I try to focus on what truly matters: my relationships, my values, and my goals. This practice helps me live with more intention and to appreciate each moment. A practical example of how I apply Memento Mori is in making important decisions. When I face a tough choice, I ask myself, if today were my last day, what decision would I make? This reflection helps clarify my priorities and make decisions that align with my deepest values. By doing this, I find greater peace and satisfaction in my choices. Furthermore, Memento Mori has taught me to appreciate the people in my life more deeply. Knowing that our loved ones won't be with us forever reminds us of the importance of expressing our love and gratitude while we can. I try not to take my relationships for granted and to show appreciation and affection to those around me. This practice not only strengthens my bonds, but also gives me a deeper sense of connection and purpose. Contemplating death also helps us face our fears. Stoics teach us that the fear of death is one of the main sources of anxiety and suffering. By accepting death as a natural part of life, we can free ourselves from this fear and live with more freedom and courage. Epictetus tells us, "It is not death that we should fear, but the fear of death." By confronting this fear, we find greater strength and resilience. Another way I practice Memento Mori is through daily meditation and reflection. I take a few minutes each day to reflect on my mortality and to remind myself that every day is a gift. This practice helps me maintain perspective and live with more gratitude and awareness. By doing so, I find greater inner peace and a greater appreciation for life. Memento Mori is a powerful Stoic lesson that invites us to live with more intention and gratitude. By remembering our mortality, we can focus on what truly matters and find greater peace and satisfaction in our lives. This practice has taught me to value each moment and to live with more purpose and serenity. In the next lesson, we will explore the concept of Amor, Fati, and how accepting and loving our fate can bring peace and serenity to our lives. Lesson 5. Amor Fati, love your fate. One of the deepest and most transformative teachings of Stoicism is the concept of Amor Fati, which means love your fate. This principle invites us to embrace and love everything that happens to us, both the good and the bad, as part of a greater plan. By adopting this attitude, we find peace and serenity that allow us to face any challenge with a calm mind and an open heart. The concept of Amor Fati teaches us to see every event in our life, even the most difficult ones, as an opportunity to grow and learn. Stoics believe that everything that happens is necessary and has a purpose. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminds us that we must accept every event as if we had desired it, because it is part of the natural order of the universe. He writes, "Love only what happens to you and is intertwined with your fate." What could be more fitting? For me, practicing Amor Fati has been a way to find meaning and purpose in all the experiences of my life. Instead of resisting difficulties or lamenting adversities, I try to see them as opportunities to grow and strengthen. For example, when I face a challenge at work, instead of getting frustrated, I ask myself, what can I learn from this situation? How can I grow through this experience? This attitude helps me stay calm and find creative solutions to problems. Accepting and loving our fate also means letting go of resentment and bitterness. Stoics teach us that resentment only causes suffering and prevents us from living fully. By practicing Amor Fati, we learn to release the past and accept the present as it is. This does not mean passively resigning ourselves, but rather embracing each moment with gratitude and openness. Epictetus tells us, "Do not seek that events should happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and your life will go well." A practical example of Amor Fati in my life is how I handle loss and failure. In the past, I used to feel overwhelmed by pain and disappointment when things didn't go as expected. However, by adopting the attitude of Amor Fati, I've learned to see these experiences as part of my path. Instead of lamenting, I try to find learning and growth in each situation. This practice has helped me develop greater resilience and face challenges with a positive attitude. Additionally, Amor Fati has taught me to appreciate moments of joy and success more deeply. Knowing that everything in life is transient helps me value and enjoy every moment to the fullest. I try to live with gratitude and savor life's small joys, knowing they are all part of my fate. Another way I practice Amor Fati is through daily meditation and reflection. I take a few minutes each day to reflect on the events of the day and to give thanks for everything that has happened, both the good and the bad. This practice helps me maintain a balanced perspective and live with greater acceptance and serenity. Amor Fati is a powerful Stoic lesson that invites us to accept and love our fate. By adopting this attitude, we find greater peace and serenity in our lives. This practice has taught me to see every experience as an opportunity to grow and to live with greater gratitude and openness. In the next lesson, we will explore the importance of perception and how our perceptions and judgments affect our emotions and reactions. Lesson 6. The importance of perception. One of the most transformative teachings of Stoicism is the importance of perception. The Stoics teach us that it is not the events themselves that affect us, but rather our perception of them. By changing our perception, we can change our emotions and reactions and find greater calm and serenity in life. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, reminds us, it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. This principle invites us to examine our perceptions and question the judgments we make about events and people. By doing so, we can free ourselves from many of the negative emotions that cause us suffering. For me, practicing the importance of perception has been a way to find greater inner peace. A practical example of this is how I handle criticism. In the past, I used to take criticism personally and felt hurt or angry. However, by applying the Stoic principle of perception, I've learned to see criticism as an opportunity to grow and improve. Instead of reacting impulsively, I try to listen with an open mind and learn from the feedback. This practice has helped me develop greater resilience and remain calm in difficult situations. Another way I apply this principle is in managing stress. Instead of seeing challenges as insurmountable obstacles, I try to change my perception and see them as opportunities to learn and grow. For example, if I face a difficult project at work, instead of feeling overwhelmed, I ask myself, what can I learn from this experience? How can I grow through this challenge? By changing my perception, I find greater motivation and energy to tackle the problem. The Stoics also teach us to practice indifference to things that are beyond our control. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that we must strip away the legend that surrounds things and see them as they really are. This means seeing events objectively, without adding unnecessary emotional judgments. In my life, I try to apply this when facing unexpected situations. For example, if I miss a flight, instead of getting angry or frustrated, I try to see the situation objectively and look for practical solutions. This attitude helps me stay calm and find more effective solutions. The importance of perception also applies to our relationships with others. Often, our perceptions and judgments about people can cause conflicts and misunderstandings. By practicing empathy and trying to see things from others' perspectives, we can improve our relationships and find greater harmony. In my daily interactions, I try to listen actively and understand the motivations and feelings of others. This practice not only improves my relationships, but also helps me remain calm and understanding in conflict situations. Another powerful tool for changing our perception is daily meditation and reflection. I take a few minutes each day to reflect on my perceptions and judgments, questioning whether they are based on reality or assumptions. This practice helps me become more aware of my thoughts and adjust my perceptions in a more positive and constructive way. The importance of perception is a fundamental lesson of Stoicism that invites us to examine and change our perceptions to find greater peace and serenity. By practicing this principle, we can free ourselves from many of the negative emotions that cause us suffering and live in a more full and balanced way. In the next lesson, we will explore the practice of self-discipline and how this essential Stoic virtue can help us live a more balanced and fulfilling life. Lesson 7. Practice self-discipline. Self-discipline is an essential virtue in Stoicism and a powerful tool for living a balanced and fulfilling life. The Stoics believe that self-discipline allows us to control our desires and emotions, acting in accordance with our values and principles, rather than being driven by momentary impulses. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, reminds us, "No man is free if he cannot control himself." Self-discipline gives us the freedom to live by our own rules and not be enslaved by our desires and emotions. For me, practicing self-discipline has been a way to find greater balance and purpose in my life. One of the areas where I have applied self-discipline is time management. In the past, I used to procrastinate and leave important tasks for the last minute, which caused me stress and anxiety. However, by practicing self-discipline, I have learned to plan my time more effectively and prioritize my tasks. This has not only helped me become more productive, but it has also allowed me to enjoy more free time and reduce stress. Another way I practice self-discipline is in my eating habits and exercise routine. The Stoics teach us that we should care for our bodies as temples and keep them in good shape. By adopting healthy habits and maintaining a regular exercise routine, I have found greater energy and well-being. Self-discipline helps me resist unhealthy food temptations and stay focused on my health goals. Self-discipline is also crucial in managing emotions. The Stoics believe that we must learn to control our emotions and not allow them to dominate us. This doesn't mean repressing emotions, but observing them and responding rationally. In my life, I try to practice emotional self-discipline when facing stressful or conflicting situations. Instead of reacting impulsively, I take a moment to breathe and reflect before responding. This practice has helped me stay calm and handle difficult situations better. Additionally, self-discipline is essential for personal development and growth. The Stoics teach us that we must constantly strive to improve and reach our full potential. This requires a constant commitment to self-discipline and daily practice. In my life, I try to set clear goals and work towards them with determination and perseverance. Whether it's learning a new skill, improving in my work, or developing a new routine, self-discipline helps me stay focused and motivated. A powerful tool for practicing self-discipline is keeping a journal. At the end of each day, I take a few minutes to reflect on my actions and evaluate how I practice self-discipline. This practice helps me become more aware of my behaviors and identify areas where I can improve. It also gives me a sense of accomplishment and satisfaction as I see my progress over time. Self-discipline is a virtue that requires practice and constant effort, but the benefits are immense. By developing self-discipline, we find greater freedom and control over our lives. It allows us to live according to our values and principles and face challenges with a calm mind and a strong heart. In the next lesson, we will explore how to find serenity in adversity and how the Stoics face challenges with calm and resilience. Lesson 8. Find serenity in adversity. One of the most valuable teachings of Stoicism is how to find serenity in adversity. The Stoics show us that while we cannot control external events, we can control our response to them. This lesson invites us to face challenges with calm and resilience, seeing each difficulty as an opportunity to grow and strengthen ourselves. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminds us, the mind adapts and turns every obstacle into its own benefit. What stands in the way becomes the way. This perspective teaches us that obstacles are not insurmountable barriers, but opportunities to develop our strength and wisdom. By adopting this attitude, we can find serenity even in the most difficult situations. For me, practicing serenity in adversity has been a way to transform my life. A practical example of this is how I handle stress at work. In the past, I used to feel overwhelmed by demands and deadlines, which affected my well-being and performance. However, by applying Stoic principles, I've learned to see each challenge as an opportunity to improve my skills and resilience. Instead of letting stress take over, I focus on staying calm and concentrating on what I can control. This practice has helped me be more efficient and enjoy my work more. Another way I apply this lesson is in managing personal conflicts. The Stoics teach us to maintain calm and composure, even when facing criticism or disagreements. Instead of reacting impulsively, I try to listen with empathy and respond rationally. This attitude not only helps me handle conflicts better, but it also improves my relationships and emotional well-being. Serenity in adversity also means accepting things as they are. The Stoics remind us that we cannot change the past or control the future, but we can live fully in the present. Epictetus tells us, "Do not seek that events should happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and your life will go well." This attitude of acceptance has helped me let go of resentment and worry, allowing me to find greater inner peace. A practical example of this is how I handle losses and failures. In the past, I used to feel devastated by failures and disappointments. However, by adopting the Stoic attitude of acceptance, I've learned to see these experiences as part of my path. Instead of lamenting, I try to find the learning and growth in each situation. This practice has helped me develop greater resilience and face challenges with a positive attitude. Furthermore, serenity in adversity can be cultivated through daily meditation and reflection. I take a few minutes each day to reflect on the events of the day and to be grateful for everything that has happened, both good and bad. This practice helps me maintain a balanced perspective and live with greater acceptance and serenity. The Stoics also teach us to practice negative visualization, a technique that involves imagining the worst-case scenarios to mentally prepare ourselves and reduce the emotional impact if they occur. By practicing negative visualization, we can face challenges with a calmer mind and greater resilience. Finding serenity in adversity is a powerful lesson from Stoicism that invites us to face challenges with calm and resilience. By adopting this attitude, we can transform our difficulties into opportunities for growth and strength. This practice has taught me to live with greater inner peace and face challenges with a calm mind and a strong heart. In the next lesson, we will explore how to cultivate gratitude and how this Stoic practice can help us maintain calm and happiness in our daily lives. Lesson 9. Cultivate gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful practice in Stoicism that helps us maintain calm and happiness in our daily lives. The Stoics teach us that by focusing on what we have and appreciating the blessings in our lives, we can find greater inner peace and satisfaction. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminds us that we should receive without pride, let go without attachment. Practicing gratitude involves recognizing and valuing the good things in our lives without taking anything for granted. For me, cultivating gratitude has been a way to transform my perspective and find joy in the small things. A practical example of this is how I start my day. Each morning, I take a few minutes to reflect on the things I'm grateful for. It might be something as simple as the sun shining, a hot cup of coffee, or a meaningful conversation with a friend. This practice helps me begin my day with a positive attitude and face challenges with a calmer mind. Another way I practice gratitude is by keeping a gratitude journal. At the end of each day, I write down 3 things I'm grateful for. This practice not only helps me focus on the positive, but it also provides me with a tangible record of the blessings in my life. Reviewing my gratitude journal reminds me that even on difficult days, there is always something to be thankful for. Gratitude also helps us maintain a balanced perspective and prevents us from being swept up in the constant desire for more. The Stoics teach us that insatiable desire is a source of suffering and that we must learn to be content with what we have. Seneca tells us, "It is not the person who is little, but the person who desires more, that is poor." By practicing gratitude, we learn to value what we have and find satisfaction in the present. A practical example of this is how I handle comparisons with others. In the past, I used to constantly compare myself to others and feel dissatisfied with what I had. However, by practicing gratitude, I've learned to focus on my own blessings and to value my own path. Instead of comparing myself to others, I try to celebrate their successes and find joy in my own experiences. This practice has helped me develop greater self-esteem and live with more contentment. Gratitude also improves our relationships with others. By expressing our thanks and appreciation, we strengthen our bonds and foster an environment of positivity and support. In my daily interactions, I try to express my gratitude to the people around me, whether by thanking a colleague for their help, showing appreciation to a friend for their support, or simply saying thank you to a stranger for an act of kindness. This practice not only improves my relationships, but also gives me a greater sense of connection and purpose. Moreover, gratitude helps us face challenges with a more positive attitude. The Stoics teach us that even in difficulties, there is always something to be thankful for. By finding the positive side of difficult situations, we can maintain calm and resilience. For example, if I face a problem at work, I try to focus on what I can learn from the experience and how it will help me grow. This attitude of gratitude helps me maintain a balanced perspective and face challenges with a calmer mind. Cultivating gratitude is a powerful lesson from Stoicism that invites us to focus on the positive and appreciate the blessings in our lives. By practicing gratitude, we find greater inner peace and satisfaction, and we improve our relationships and emotional well-being. In the next lesson, we will explore the importance of daily reflection and how this Stoic practice can help us live more consciously and in balance. Lesson 10. Reflect daily. Daily reflection is a fundamental practice in Stoicism that helps us live more consciously and balanced. The Stoics teach us that by taking the time to reflect on our actions and thoughts, we can learn from our experiences and continuously improve. This practice allows us to stay aligned with our values and principles, and to face challenges with a clear mind and a serene heart. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, shows us how daily reflection can be a powerful tool for personal growth. He wrote his thoughts and reflections every day, using this process to examine his life and actions. This practice allowed him to stay focused on his goals and live according to his Stoic principles. Following his example, I've incorporated daily reflection into my routine, and it has become one of the most transformative practices in my life. For me, daily reflection starts at the end of the day. I take a few minutes to review the events of the day and reflect on my actions and thoughts. Questions like, did I act according to my values? Did I show wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance? And what can I learn from today's experiences? Help me evaluate my behavior and identify areas where I can improve. This practice provides me with greater self-awareness and allows me to adjust my actions for the future. Keeping a journal is a powerful tool for daily reflection. By writing my thoughts and reflections, I can see patterns in my behavior and make more informed decisions. My journal is not just a record of my experiences, but also a guide for my personal growth. Reviewing my previous entries helps me see my progress and stay motivated on my path toward continuous improvement. Daily reflection also helps us maintain a balanced perspective and prevents us from being carried away by the emotions of the moment. The Stoics teach us that we must observe our emotions and thoughts with detachment, without judging them or reacting impulsively. By reflecting on my emotions and thoughts, I can better understand my reactions and make more rational decisions. This practice has helped me maintain calm and serenity, even in stressful situations. Moreover, daily reflection allows us to learn from our mistakes and failures. Stoics believe that every error is an opportunity to learn and grow. By reflecting on my mistakes, I try to identify the lessons I can learn and how I can avoid making the same mistakes in the future. This attitude of continuous learning has helped me develop greater resilience and face challenges with a positive mindset. Daily reflection is also an opportunity to practice gratitude. At the end of each day, I take a few minutes to give thanks for the blessings and lessons learned. This practice helps me maintain a positive attitude and value the good things in my life. Gratitude, combined with reflection, provides me with greater inner peace and satisfaction. Another way I practice daily reflection is through meditation. I take a few minutes each day to meditate and focus on the present. Meditation helps calm my mind and observe my thoughts and emotions with clarity. This practice provides me with greater self-awareness and allows me to face challenges with a calm mind and a serene heart. Daily reflection is a powerful lesson from Stoicism that invites us to live more consciously and in balance. By taking the time to reflect on our actions and thoughts, we can learn from our experiences and continuously improve. This practice has taught me to live with greater self-awareness and to face challenges with a clear mind and a serene heart.
Recuerda, la práctica del estoicismo es un viaje diario hacia la paz interior y la resiliencia. Si te ha servido este vídeo para reflexionar y quieres seguir profundizando en este camino, asegúrate de suscribirte y activar las notificaciones. Así, juntos podremos seguir explorando la sabiduría de los grandes estoicos y aplicarla en nuestra vida moderna. Nos vemos en el próximo vídeo. Gracias por tu tiempo y sigue cultivando la fortaleza en cada paso.